preparing.
stuff for you.
Hello, we are live at the Canadian Bro Show. I'm so excited to be here. We're following up on a really popular and positive episode that we did a few episodes ago, before we changed our logo. And by the way, look at the new logo to the right of Johnny's head. It is fantastic. That is the Canadian Bro Show, Canadian A, the evolution of the Canadian Bro Show. We are doing episode 43 of the Canadian Bro Show, pop culture 44, pardon me, even better, pop culture segment. And we're bringing back, I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by two of the best co-hosts one could ever ask for in this YouTube experience and journey. And that is, to my left, the talented and prolific writer of Mr. Johnny Leister. And directly below him, our special guest today, Trent Rowley, is the other co-host with the most S, which gives him a slight edge on Johnny only because he's larger than Johnny in a few ways.
Larger than life.
Right. That's what I was kind of wanting to say. Thank you for the interjection, Johnny. I love it. And today, just to get right into this episode, we are doing Finding Alberta.
Alberta?
Well, I mean, it's there. Trust me. Wild Rose Rebellion, Part 2. And Trent is from St. Paul, Alberta. Johnny is filming from the Vancouver Library in Vancouver, beautiful British Columbia. And I'm filming from probably the second most beautiful place in British Columbia, and that is Kelowna in the Okanagan Valley. And all together, we are the Canadian Bro Show, and thank you for joining us. We've got an excellent episode. And right away, I just wanted to start off with a question, and I'll start off with a question, and then I'll let Johnny, and then Trent, you can share whatever you like on the questions that we've asked, and perhaps if there's anything that you feel is really prevalent and important, because things have really changed since we've done the last episode, please just take over, and Johnny and I are all ears. In the meantime... Yeah, absolutely. And Trent, thank you for joining us. It's his Sunday. Trent values his Sundays like most people do. He'd be on the golf course. He'd be on his patio. He'd be on his jacuzzi. He'd be cooking dinner. He'd be probably doing other things we can't mention on air. But we are an adult show, and this is not a children's show, but we still won't mention it. In the meantime, what's happened recently since we got on, I just wanted to find out about the situation that's happening with the separation, as it was a huge topic then, and now there's these your premier of Alberta has brought in new referendum rules that will be taking effect, and we all in Canada have no idea what's going on, but it's rapidly changing. What is going on, Trent? What can you share with us? How can we find Alberta if we're not from there?
Well, the referendum thing is obviously the number was, I believe it was like 170 or 180,000 signatures. But not, well, she's got it, and she brought it down to like 60.
Right.
Obviously, for knowing that she'd get that many signatures, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Of course.
The funniest thing about it that kind of made me chuckle is we had 3 by-elections here a couple of weeks ago in Three Hills, which is down near Olds, and Didsbury, same area. Those are really big conservative places, but especially places that were in the past voted for separation or anything like that kind of thing. We have a new party in Alberta called the Republic of Alberta, or some stupid nonsense like that.
I saw that. They want to be the 51st state, right?
Yeah, idiots. So
scary.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, and so on those 3 ballots, off the referendum part, only about 17% is what the number was that supported it. So their number is way down for what. It doesn't matter how many signatures they get. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, it's less than half of MAGA down south, right?
Well, and the thing is I think what happens is, we've talked about it on our different show, and you guys have, you've talked about it here, is we're letting the minority have the biggest voice in a lot of things in life. Right. Whether it's the far left with transgender and sport, or if it's the far right with who knows what nonsense. I mean, both sides have went so far now. We're not in the middle anymore. So I think we're letting a fringe minority have a big voice. And I think Daniel Smith, I think this is coming right within her own party in Alberta. This is about power. This is about control. That's all I see in it. I don't see this being, I don't see it happening. I'll put it that way. And when we did this first episode on Finding Alberta, I didn't respond to the person on YouTube that had responded with a big paragraph about how he lived in up north and worked in the oil field and he supports separation. Well, first of all, I think we know lots of people like this in our lives that live check to check or month to month, right?
Almost everyone, actually.
Right? A 40-hour work week living check to check because of the cost of things. Well, these idiots, and I'll call them idiots because I've worked in the oil field since 2000 and I did it before I moved to BC.
Right.
We used to have a sticker. They'd have a sticker on the door in 2012 when it slowed down. We had a real big slowdown. People were being laid off. It wasn't good. Oil price went down. And there was a sticker that guys even had on their hard hat. And it said, "Please, Lord, let there be one more boom. I promise not to spend all my money." These are the people that are supporting separation, right? Like, this is the people we're talking about, right? Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
The ones about log homes on a fishing lake and a huge truck to get there with all the toys.
Yeah, they don't, and it's the thing. They all have 2 quads and a trailer and whatever else. And I think what gets lost, not just that part, what gets lost is lots of our systems are broken in government. I don't think anybody can say they're not, especially when it comes to, taxes, healthcare, etc. And healthcare being a big one. These guys, and I'll call them idiots again because they are when they think this way, is you're living check to check, but you're going to tell me you want to be the 51st state. Well, guess what, dummy? The first time you have a problem health-wise, you're going to be mortgaging everything you own because you're not going to be able to afford it.
No, you'll lose everything you own. You'll lose.
They're not looking at the big picture, obviously.
No, they have no idea what the big picture is.
Exactly. It's bite your nose off in spite of your face type thing, right? Like it's just so dumb. It's very frustrating because I'm around those people in this area. So it's very frustrating to hear those kind of conversations happen about, oh, I want to separate. Well, if you're rich, yeah, you know what? Separation might be good for you. You have lots of money, but that's a small percentage of people. And again, as you just said, Johnny, I don't think people are looking out into the future of what really could happen. Because the first time there's a reason in the States that women will have a baby in a hotel across the street from the hospital and then go to the hospital after the fact because it's $30,000 to have a baby. Well, guess what it costs you in Canada to have a baby? $0, right? It's just nonsense. And I don't think these people, all they're thinking of, and I've said this before about politics has become like sports. It's become very polarizing. And now it's about my team. It doesn't matter if they do right or wrong. Right. It's just about my team. Even when they do wrong, I don't care. It's just dumb. It's just people are dumb. That's just the way it is. And I'm dumb about some stuff, but people are dumb about this. And it drives me crazy. So
not a lot of objective thinking.
No, I mean, there's unfortunately objective thinking is one of the most important aspects of any rational thought process and communication. However, if you lose that, you're 75% behind you're toast because you sound like a moron. You have no idea what you're talking about.
And people have loose wiring.
and no, but the thing is that, what people need to do, and Trent's so right on this, and it's a huge pandemic problem, and not just Canada, the world. And because of social media in the 21st century and technology, people don't listen anymore. People don't hear what they're listening. People don't absorb and hear what they're listening and put it into a rational thought process and be a part of a constructive, positive conversation. And that's when it gets frustrating. That's where the frustration that Trent's showing, I see it as well. I feel the same way, is people are just dumb as a bag of rocks, so they just don't care. That's a very general statement. There's a lot of smart people, a lot of great people. Unfortunately, political apathy in Canada, and I would imagine elsewhere in this world, is a huge problem because people don't vote. And it's their free right. It's tax, marriage, death. And those are rights. And you do all of them, but you don't vote? 30% of 41 million people vote. Is this the problem? Right?
It's part of the problem.
Go on, Trent, please.
So, right, people just get people get a news feed now. Well, thank you to the Liberal government, we can't even get news on Facebook. And unfortunately, a lot of old people, I mean, lots of young people now say, oh, you're on Facebook? That's an old person thing. Well, I'm 56, so I'm old. So yeah, I'll use Facebook. But they use Snapchat and other stuff. But Facebook, you used to get news. Well, because of the Liberal government, I think it was I can't remember the bill. It was like B98. I can't remember the name of it. We talked about it. I've talked about it on a different show.
Yeah.
But now I don't get news. I don't even get local news on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like I don't even get like stuff that happens in Canada because they wanted, like, thank you to, again, Liberal government.
Why did they do that? Like, what was in it for them that they would do such a harebrained
Control,
move?
Johnny.
Okay.
Control.
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, there's a million other ways to look at
I
news.
would tell you this. Control is definitely one of the reasons, because I look at it this way. So when they made this rule, now it's like, okay, CBC, CTV, Global, all the networks that have all their money involved. Again, like look at the big corporations we have in Canada with TELUS and Rogers and Bell. They bought everything, so they control everything. And now they're saying, okay, instead of you getting your news on Facebook, hey, Global has an app. It's free. So it's a way to get their traffic for their advertising, so they can make more money, basically. And I have not done any of it because I'm online enough that I can see the news I need to see and what's going on. But it was more about that, right? It's more about, well, we're going to line the pockets of the people that own everything already.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's how I look at it.
It looks like we're falling into that rabbit hole for sure. Especially this the crazy bill that was passed down south. But let's keep it Canada. So Alberta, what's going on? So I want to give Johnny a question, then Trent, I want you to really vent, not rant, but vent, because Trent already rants on another show.
I'm mad at hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Not quite like that. Everyone rants differently, Johnny, but I get it. I've seen people that rant like that. But Trent is part of the co-host of Two Guys and One Rant on Poolin Radio, and they've done, I think, 52 episodes. And Trent said, not where I'm from. Trent's an hour and a half from, north from Edmonton, where our new Prime Minister of Canada was born in Edmonton. And Trent is not a big fan of the Edmonton Oilers, but every time I fly into town, he picks me up there, and there's a lot of pros going on, and where Trent is, Trent, you tell us, man. Tell us about St. Paul. Tell us what, Johnny, you ask a question, Ness, and then let Trent just go into.
Okay. Trent, if you had a magic wand, what would you change about Alberta right now?
First thing, only thing, or just the most important?
Whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
Nice one, Johnny.
I would
nice
probably.
Nice
I would love.
Look, he's looking to the skies. He's looking to the skies.
Look, it's thinking.
I would. There's a lot of things. I mean, it's like any province. There's lots of things that we'd all like to see change, whether it's the government or whether I would like to see what's happening in Alberta. The big thing is money is being siphoned out of all the rural communities into all the cities.
Yeah.
So now I have blackouts at an emergency room an hour away from me that says, hey, emergency room won't be open for this Friday and this Saturday. In Elk Point, which is 20 minutes away, they had it that every Wednesday, so for 24 hours from Wednesday at midnight till Thursday at midnight, there is no emergency room service.
Brutal.
That sounds like
there's a shortage of, not because there's a...
North Korea, they don't have emergency rooms, bro.
They don't have anything. They have lots of statues of their leaders.
Well, the problem, a lot of people don't know, the province of Alberta, we pay the highest salaries when it comes to doctors. They get paid the most being in Alberta, right? And this is a struggle. And why is it a struggle? Because the money is it can be siphoned, funneled, whatever you want to call it. It's going to Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary, Lethbridge, the big centers. We're not worried about rural Alberta, and we're seeing that money go elsewhere. And it hurts these small communities of 5,600 people, 3,000 people, right? And it's kind of frustrating for sure. That'd be something I'd love to see change, but
that's a
not
great answer,
because we have a party. So
so too much taxation, right? That's what you want to see changed? Lower taxes?
Well, I mean, we all pay taxes. Well, no, I don't necessarily. I would like to see The one thing about taxes, Johnny, we all pay taxes, Johnny. We're all Canadian when we pay our certain. The one thing that's nice about Alberta, we don't have a provincial sales tax. That's wonderful, right? You guys have it, we don't. But the other problem
7%,
is
Johnny,
we have
on a large majority of things.
Good heavens.
I have companies in this province that make record profits of billions of dollars through the oil and gas business, and we subsidize them, right? That is a problem for me.
Yeah.
These guys are making, again, when the NDP, I'm not a big NDP guy, but when the NDP finally got into power after 47 years of conservative government in Alberta, the NDP got in power, a majority, because people were fed up, and they screwed it up royally as well because they were against oil and gas instead of embracing it and finding the solutions for it. But that's another
quick interjection, Trent. How many refineries in Alberta right now?
Only a couple, only a few. We
Why?
should have many, right? We should be producing.
Same with
all
BC. Same with all.
Why would you refine it when you can send it somewhere else to be refined? And the oil companies that are here, where we're shipping it down to them, the same companies down south, they buy the oil and the bitumen from us at 50 cents on the dollar, and then ship it back to us and get full market value, right? I mean, it's just stupidity.
Well, that's why I'm asking the question, because I can't understand it. And then of course the greatest neighboring superpower that we trade with more than any other country in the world, significantly, is not happening anymore. So that's our gain and their loss, because we found other people. But is all of this frustration, when you look at the stats and what you open with, Trent, at 17%, is really, if you talk about the referendum, if you talk about, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Separation, it seems like the current premier of Alberta is using it as leverage to, she's working with MAGA. There is a certain percentage of people that want to be the 51st state, but the vast majority of Albertans think that's absolutely ludicrous. If you look at Canada, the stats are 90+% of all Canadians, 41 million people, can't stand our neighbors to the south. It's fact. Only because of the current administration, second time around, which is obviously worse. And that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to tear away. We need Alberta. We need every single one of these provinces, the Maritime, the Nunavut, Yukon. We need all of them. We need to focus on Canada One, right? We have the greatest country in the world, right? Can we do that?
Alberta's the guys paying the bills at the end of the day. Oil and gas pays the bills. I mean, people can. And again, what I've said before is you can go to some of the leading 15 to 20 of the leading climate scientists in the world. It's documented. It's in published magazines and books and online. Have said, could you do a little bit better and do some things that, production wise or whatever it is for oil and gas. The one thing you can't do, you cannot survive in this climate without oil and gas.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen. It's minus 40 here in the wintertime. And a heat pump isn't going to do it, right? And it's, how do we limit it? What the thing is about oil and gas is the big thing for me. So just on the point with the NDP. What was that?
No, I just said windmills only work when it's windy, right? The windmill, the whole windmill idea.
And solar only works when it's sunny.
Exactly.
You know that actor, Ed Begley Jr.? Do you remember him from St. Elsewhere?
Yeah.
I was watching a clip from him.
The white hair with the school glasses.
Yeah, and he barbecues with like this piece of aluminum foil that he reflects from the sun.
Direct sun heat. Reflective direct sunlight. Yeah.
He's living like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, and it's been probably in his brain, probably because it's the only thing he has left is a couple of rocks bouncing around in there.
Like I said, the right's gone too far and the left goes too far. It's just nonsense, right?
No, so
what
true.
With the NDP?
Trent, really, before you go into I can hardly wait to hear the NDP thing. But what happened to the middle of Canada, the middle left, middle right? It seems like it's just extreme on both ends.
I think most people are in the middle. They're just
all of us are. All three of us are right here. We're middle.
Yeah. Well,
I'm center. I'm basically center right.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I'm basically center right. I'm basically set there right. Fiscally, I'm conservative,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
socially, I'm liberal.
I think most
That's
Yeah.
people
just,
Yeah.
and we're
Me too.
we're a democratic. People forget
are
we're a
living that
democratic.
life. Right.
Well, we're a democratic socialist country. That's what
Yeah.
we are, Canada.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
it's
don't
worked
see
for
how people
decades,
don't understand that.
for the most part.
Of course, right? So what happened here was when the NDP got in power, they took the tax rate from 10% and raised it to 12 for big corporations. And everybody was up in arms, the big corporations. God forbid we're making billions in profits and we got to pay an extra 2%. They should have went to 20% is what they should have did.
Yeah.
Because these guys are threatening to go, well, if you do this, we're going to move. No, you're not. You have billions of dollars invested in the third largest oil deposit in the entire world. You're not going anywhere. Okay, it's not happening. You have so much money leveraged. So what they did, they put it to 12. So they went a little too crazy with the real far left stuff. The NDP did, of course, as they always do. And so when the PCs got back in, I won't even call them PCs, the UCPs, which is Unite the Right, just nonsense. When they got back in with majority, what's the first legislation they did?
Is that a third division football team?
They did. No, just that. So what they did was the first legislation, as soon as they were voted in with the majority, they took the tax rate from 12%. They didn't go back to 10%. They went to 8%. Now, and that equaled $4.5 billion of tax money per year. They got rid of.
Wow.
So why do you think hospitals are closing, or you can't have enough teachers and all this stuff, right? And again, people vote, as I've said before. I got lots of farmers in my area. Some really good friends that are farmers, and they're like, "Oh, I'd never vote for these guys. They're socialists." And I go, "Did you remember that year you had a bad crop? Yeah. Did you get a subsidy for that, like some money from the government to help you out because you had a bad crop? Yeah. Guess what that's called, dummy? Socialism. I'm sorry, but it's just these guys, it's like buzzwords. They hear a buzzword and it's just like, I'm going to run with it. None of them could ever tell me what conservative means, what socialism means, what communist means, they could never define. If I asked them what that definition was, they couldn't. And that's the voters that you're dealing with. Yeah. They just vote for their team. I've voted conservative my whole life just because, and I'm just going to keep voting conservative because that's what my family does. No other reason. None. No policy reasons, no nothing.
Isn't Johnny, right? Isn't that, and
that's where you find yourself today.
Hey, Trent, Johnny, isn't ignorance is bliss? Did some poetic writer come up with that shit?
Well, it wasn't me. It was someone long before me.
No, I wasn't suggesting it was you. I'm just saying that it's just such a fucking cop-out. Pardon my French. It drives me nuts. Oh, no, I didn't know about that. Dude, in Trent and I's job, and I guess in your job too, Johnny, we can't plead ignorance and pretend that we don't know about something and therefore it's not my responsibility. It doesn't work like that, right? And this is what seems to be happening on so many different levels in one of the greatest countries in the world.
Right.
So Trent, let's go. What do you want to bring up, Trent? What's the most? Do you want me to ask another question?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So what about the surplus? You're talking about, Albertans love to talk about, we get ripped off, and then, Quebec and Ontario, and then we got to subsidize BC. And we brought it up in the last episode, and there's a lot of truth to that. And there's more, and we'll let you go on that. But how can you go through all of this shit in Alberta, everything that's happening, and there's an $800 billion surplus in the province of Alberta? No other province has that surplus. Right? In NDP in BC, no, it's not true. I heard it was just under 700 billion or whatever. 686. So it's just fake media then.
Dude, we're running a 5 I believe on this last budget was we're a $5.4 billion deficit is what we're running.
That's insane. Well, that's not as Johnny, in BC, it's over 10 billion. The NDP here in BC, they're up at a 10, 11, or 12 billion. And they just keep on racking it up. It's crazy, man. But this is about finding Alberta. Because once we find Alberta, maybe we can find British Columbia. Maybe we can find Canada. But in the meantime, I think Alberta is one of the most, if not the second most, I would say the second most, if not the first, most important province in the whole national unity that Carney keeps on talking about and bringing everyone together. And he's visited, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, Alberta 9 times. Well, he's from Edmonton, and he knows that he needs to appease your premier but she's going around him. She's not waiting for anyone. She's going around him, but there's no hope that Alberta is gonna separate like Quebec didn't for 50 years. Right? So why are we wasting our time in this? Is it because everybody needs to know what Alberta needs where the rest of Canada doesn't have, and stop being taken advantage of and subsidizing other provinces? What do we do, Trent? How do we, like, you talk about this stuff all the time. Like, there's got to be, I mean, Premier Carney, I think, is a smart man. And I know he doesn't have all the answers, but the way he's really cozying up to your premier and making a very concerted effort to, do whatever she needs to say and be a part of in any way possible, because he wants Canada unity. He wants interprovincial trade. He doesn't want any issues. It's a Canadian dollar. By the way, the Canadian dollar's gone up 4 cents. That's incredible.
Yay,
That's incredible. Johnny.
We're going to go higher.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the big thing is, again, Alberta's waited on BC, especially waited on BC to get this pipeline done.
Yeah, don't wait on BC. Ebby's a knob.
Again, okay, well, just a sec. So
please do.
It just shows you what propaganda does, right? And media does. If you follow, and we've talked about this before, you guys both know it, because of social media and the algorithms, the way they work, is if you follow or like certain things, well, now all of a sudden you get more of that in your feed, right? So if you're a right-wing person, you're never getting any left-wing things that will ever push against your belief, and vice versa, right? Both. So now you're living in a bubble, and your wife was one of them, Paul. And we talked about last time I was in Vancouver, and the pipeline thing got brought up, and she's like all anti-pipeline, and she's talking about Georgia. I go, listen, first of all, go down to Kitts Beach, go sit on the beach. There's 8 tankers that aren't oil sitting in the bay. Okay.
Actually, they're allowed 15 to 16.
Sure, whatever the number. I don't even care what the number is.
Well, it's double. There's a lot.
I've never been in Vancouver that they're not there.
Yeah,
so
they're always there.
The thing is that oil is, and again, this is because people are in their own little bubble. The oil pipeline wasn't coming into the port. It was going out to Tawasin, to Georgia Strait, to be shipped from there. That's where the plant was going to be built. Refinery was going to be built. Yeah. So this, again, people got in there, again, they get their little bubble, and their little bubble tells them that, oh, we don't need those tankers, oil tankers down in, west side of it's not going to be there, guys. And the thing about the pipeline is that only 27 kilometers of that pipeline, Trans Mountain stuff that was going to go to Tawasin, is new. And it's all the Burnaby area to go up to Tawasin. The other pipeline is almost 35 to 40 years old. They're upgrading it.
Yeah.
And it's way safer to transport it that way than it is to transport it via rail. Because if a rail car ever went off in the mountains, that ecosystem is gone, because they can never get to it ever to rescue what would happen there.
Catastrophic.
And that's just how, again, I say people are stupid, and that's how I look at that when I say people are dumb. If you actually did your research, not your research on your phone while you're sitting on your toilet, right? Actual research, you'd understand that that's not reality. The reality is that we're trying to take a product that we have.
You're not using cognitive thinking. You're just reacting.
It's crazy. Well, it's practical thinking, right? It's called reading and going again.
If you're on the toilet, it's called toilet bowl thinking. Because you're only thinking about one thing on the toilet, bro.
You're in your own little bubble, and you're getting only news from one side or the other. And that's what happens in Alberta. When you say, hey, what are they doing? The whole thing about separation, it's the same thing. It's red meat for your base, right? For your voters. It's just like one of the first things they did too was, hey, we're going to make sure that transgender kids, minors can't have surgery. Minors can't have well, first of all, minors couldn't do that anyways. But your voters who are so against that stuff, they love hearing that. And it's like 0.04% of our population in Alberta is transgender, right? So it's just, they're making rules for their base. It's just red meat, because we are so divided and so polarized, and people buy into it.
Yeah, again, but Trent, the base is only 17-18%. I mean, how many people?
Bigger than that.
Well, of the hardcore base, or just a general base?
No. The conservative base is obviously bigger than that. They have a majority government. They've had it for 47 years. Okay, yeah. The base. I'm talking about that. That's their base. That's red meat.
I was talking about the right wing hardcore thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know how big that is. The separation thing's 17%, but the hardcore right wing stuff could be a little higher. I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean,
definitely.
I don't pay a lot of attention to it. But the
you
thing I'll
hear
give
it.
her credit for,
Yeah.
what she's smart doing is, guess what? BC, buzz off then. We don't need you. We're going to go through Saskatchewan because Scott Moe is a partner, and we're going to go through Manitoba because Weep Canoe is a partner, and we'll go to Tidewater and Hudson Bay.
Yeah.
And you guys don't get anything from that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's because the PM of BC is a moron. EB's a moron.
Well,
and he goes, oh, no, I don't listen. He's trying to go rogue, and he's out. So I totally get that. And they're talking about bringing it through Manitoba, through Churchill, and to the Bering Strait, right? Fuck, that makes total sense. That makes total sense.
And people are like, oh, it freezes there. Yeah, they're called icebreakers, people. And it doesn't freeze as much as it used to because of this thing called climate change.
Oh my God. That just shows you how stupid people are. But not the people watching the show. They need to be enlightened by the wisdom that we can share.
Yeah.
Definitely exceptions.
Yeah, wisdom's a word. I'm not sure that's the word I would use. But again, she is... I'll give her credit. She's being proactive that way with other provinces.
Yeah.
I mean, we already ship it down to the States. And again, we ship it at half the dollar. They refine it. And then they sell it back through Michigan and into Ontario for market value. Like, that's how dumb our government is, basically. Meanwhile, we have this domestic product between oil and people. The thing about people always just bring up oil. People forget, too, that we have these huge natural gas deposits.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up next.
Natural gas all the way out to Quebec, but they don't want a pipeline of natural gas. Okay, well, next time it's 40 below, good time. We won't send any natural gas.
Well, just bring it through the St. Lawrence and out to the East Coast that way, or go through Manitoba again, right? Canada's uniquely positioned. Canada's uniquely positioned like any other country in the world, where we have access to all of the major oceans in the world. We got Pacific, we got Bering Strait, we got Atlantic, we got everything. We can bring it all. We don't need...
Dollar bills, man.
I know. Yeah, I know. Johnny,
dollar bills. It's all comes about money and control.
Johnny, do you want to lighten up this?
Yes, actually, I think that's a very sound idea. Okay, let's go in another direction briefly. We can come back to all this intense stuff. So
this is real stuff, Johnny.
Let's talk about some of the most popular tourist traps in Alberta. Is there any place that you would like to go that you haven't been? I understand that there's a Star Trek museum in a town called Vulcan. I'd like to go there.
Yeah, there is.
Exists. Have you been there? And they have
I've never been. I've never been, but I have heard of it. I know people who have went, and yes, I don't have to go to some place that has Star Trek. I have a landing pad right here in St. Paul, so I don't have to go
anywhere. He's got a UFO landing pad. We mentioned it briefly in the last show, part one.
Okay. Who's your favorite famous Albertan in sports or entertainment off the top of your head?
That's a good one, Johnny.
For me, it'd be Bret Hart.
That's a good one.
Believe it or not, I was a wrestling fan.
I
was a wrestling fan for about 2 years. I watched a documentary called Wrestling with Shadows about the life of Bret Hart. It's really worth watching.
Yep. It's pretty good. Dark Side of the Ring is a good series as well.
Wow, look at you guys.
Some of the stuff that goes on. I'll tell you about the wrestling thing, Johnny. A quick story is, as a kid growing up with my dad, my mom and stepfather, he was a big wrestling fan. So when we lived in Edmonton and in Red Deer, so Saturday afternoon was always Stampede Wrestling in Calgary, which is run by Stu Hart and all those guys, right? Well, Friday nights, they used to have the same show at the Agrodome in Edmonton. So we used to go to that show, that live show all the time with the Cuban Assassin, and there's blood everywhere. It was awesome as a kid. Like it was fun to go.
It was a bloodbath, man.
Bring a towel.
It was Cuban Assassin with a popsicle stick to the throat, kind of thing, and Bad News Allen and all those guys, right? So it was wonderful. It was awesome as a kid.
Who comes up with that shit, man?
But Stampede Wrestling with Ed Whalen, I mean, that was a big takeoff for a lot of those guys. Ended up in the WWF when it first started getting popular on TV. The Harts and a lot of those guys ended up in the WWF, right? So that started in Stampede Wrestling in Alberta, which was pretty neat. But Alberta-wise, I would probably say if I was going to be really serious, I wouldn't pick a sports person. I'd probably pick Peter Lougheed was the premier when I was a teenager. He basically stood up for Alberta when the senior Trudeau was in government, basically trying to take the rights to all of our the oil and stuff like that away from Alberta. Peter Lougheed was the one that was the guy who made a lot of legislation that helped, keep that in our province, kind of thing. So I would say probably him, just because of an educated guess. I mean, sports wise, there's a ton of guys I could choose from. Sports.
Number one sports guy. Number one sports. Doesn't matter what sport it is. Number one guy. Your favorite Albertan sports athlete. Doesn't matter what sport.
Michael J. Fox. He plays hockey. Not professional.
I don't know. That's a tough
one.
Not now.
I don't
know. Yeah, he plays hockey. Yeah, not professionally.
Johnny, please.
Just saying. Poor guy. we love Michael J. Fox, of course.
Well, I probably wouldn't be good at playing. He probably wouldn't be very good at playing that game emergency now. Probably, with the trying to take something out. But okay, sorry. Good guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough question about with sports wise that way. I would honestly don't really have ultimate favorite guy out of Alberta that way. So
you prefer living in Alberta to BC, I take it.
My favorite place.
You prefer to live in Alberta over BC, regardless of who's pulling the strings.
Yeah. I love BC in the time I lived there. When I moved away, the first thing I missed was the ocean, like being that close to the ocean, be able to walk down there and just listen to the waves. That was something I really loved about BC. But I think cost of living, even like the provincial sales tax,
gas,
stuff. Gas,
booze.
For sure. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like
all the important things, Johnny.
Alberta.
Absolutely.
Well, not. We do get the most. I know that people don't realize when it's minus 30 and minus 40 outside, the sky is usually totally clear.
Yeah.
And it's sunny. So
you get the most sun. Then
percentage-wise, we do get the most sun in all of Canada. Provincial.
Calgary leads everywhere at over 2,000 hours of sunshine in Calgary, believe it or not, and believe it just spreads into Alberta. Going back to Stu Hart, if I remember growing up, because we had our own at the Vancouver Coliseum where the Canucks used to play in the 60s and 70s and 80s, we had our own wrestling thing. It was a bloodbath. It was terrible. I hated it. I've never seen so much blood. Maybe that's why I got into zombie films. But when I think about, and you mentioned a guy named Stu Hart.
That was Bret Hart's dad.
Right. Yep. That guy used to be one of the guys that used to come and lead his whole crew and come in and take on the BC guys. It was a fucking bloodbath, man. It was just unbelievable. It was like a zombie film. Everybody, it was crazy, but it was really crazy. It was entertaining. People loved it. But if I was to answer my favorite Canadian player from Alberta, I have to go back to one of my favorite ice hockey players, even though I did not like the franchise that he played with, and that was Lanny McDonald. I was a big fan of Lanny McDonald.
With the mustache.
Yeah, well, he had a fro too. For a white dude, he had like a huge fro, and he had big stash.
Ginger.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. But a great player.
And Stu Hart, the whole wrestling thing is that most of the guys that you see in the late 80s that were famous in the WWF, they had to change their name to WWE, but the guys that were in that, they trained in Calgary with Stu Hart and stuff like that. He was training wrestlers.
I remember his name. He was the lead dude, and there was a Canadian dude. It was can't remember his name. Johnny, remember the dude? He had a head the size of a suitcase, and they used to get razor blades and just cut their.
Mick Foley.
Well, that was one, but the guy with the head, was he First Nations? He was
I'm drawing
Abdul the Butcher.
I remember that.
Abdul the Butcher back in the day. He had all the marks in his forehead from all the cuts he had.
I couldn't believe that shit. I used to watch as a kid and go, why would you do that? They're not making much money. But then I guess the money you were making back then was quite a bit of money, eh? Hey, Trent, we're 40 minutes in. What's happening right now? Like, this whole immigration thing that's going on in Canada, because the last ineptitude of the last decade of government let in 3 million Canadians and lost track of 1.5 of them. And probably half of them are still in Canada somewhere working either illegally or not. And what is all the press that's going into Alberta? Is it because that people are sneaking into Alberta because no other province in Canada is offering, obviously, the salaries that you guys can get? Trent, by the way, you don't talk about your industry. What are you allowed to say what you do in the oil industry? What is it?
I'm not gonna say, but I mean,
you said
there's
you're in
tons
it.
of jobs.
So
I mean, you can go from being a roughneck on a service rig to building. Environmental companies have grown a ton in the last decade. There's tons of environmental companies that
right,
do things that guys have made a good living at. I mean,
Right.
there's drilling,
right.
there's pipelining, there's welding, there's
There's tons. There's
refineries,
millwork. There's all
scaffolding,
kinds.
there's tons of
But
companies
the
that-
reason why I brought the question
Yeah,
up, Trent, is because of the ineptitude of the last government, which are now gone, but a lot of people say are still here because a lot of the same people are a part of it, or
they're
some of
still
them.
here.
And then of course the immigration is going to be zero because they screwed up, and they're not allowing students in, and in real estate you're not allowed to bring in foreigners. So, and with the last budget, that the ineptitude of, I won't even say her name, and what she and the other criminal did, is there's no one coming to this country, and everybody wants to leave because what's going on now. You guys don't feel that because you're the main driver of the economy of Canada. I mean, Ontario would like to say so, Quebec would like to say so, I think probably Alberta and British
They
Columbia.
do, they have to.
No, you tell me. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I would look at it this way, and a friend of mine brought this up, is if you ever watch like the World Hockey Championships, when they're on, and they're when the playoffs start in the NHL, teams that don't make it, the players play for Canada in those games. When they play in Sweden and Finland and other countries, those countries have their own car model, Skoda, right, in Sweden.
Yeah.
Well, we have the third most natural minerals, for a country in the world. Why don't we have our own car? Why doesn't Canada produce their own car? Why
Great
don't we
question.
That? I can tell you why. It's because of money involved with the big corporations, and that goes to government and subsidies and everything else.
Yeah.
But we have everything here to build our own type of model of car. Why don't we have that kind of stuff, right? Like
it's been in the news the last couple of months. Yeah. No, that's a great point.
I mean,
great point.
Mismanagement.
Well, that's the
Canadian money is
such a good point, Trent. Thank you for that. Because when I talked about the refineries, you say, well, we don't need refineries. Well, part of the problem Canada's been in and rely on our neighbors and other foreign countries is because we haven't had refineries. We should have had 20 refineries right across Canada. Then we wouldn't have to do pipelines because we've got access to the Atlantic. We've got access to the Bering. We've got access to the Pacific. And yet every single knobhead government that comes in for their 4-year journey and screw everything up on the way out, is nobody does anything. And what I'm seeing finally now is somebody spearheading, whether you like him or not. This guy is trying to make Canada the superpower it was 10 years ago. We were the 5th strongest country in the world, GDP. And now we're, as I said jokingly, and not to diminish Fiji or any smaller country, we're in the mid-30s because of the fiscal mismanagement and the ineptitude of all levels of government, and then the beautiful people that we call Canadians, the greatest people in the world, one of the greatest countries, if not the greatest country in the world. Talk about the apathy. As soon as they made pot legal, it's like everybody just sits back and go, hey, let's watch politics. No, let's not watch politics. Let's smoke a joint, get hammered, go down to the beach, and go to. Nobody cares anymore because of the mismanagement. What do we do? You guys are spearheading it. I do not want Alberta to go. I think the vast majority of Canadians don't. We need Alberta. We need Alberta more than we've ever needed Alberta. But it's for a national reason, about unity, about interprovincial trade, about opening up Canada to make us once again the greatest superpower in the world. How can we do that? Does it start with Alberta? It can.
The refinery thing, I think what people forget about is the oil that's coming out of the ground in our oil sands.
Bitumen is dirty.
It's not the oil it's not the oil that you put in your car. It's like sand. It has
That's
to be
why you refine it.
Although the bitumen that you get does go to China and India and other countries because they make phones, plastic, computers. So when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm anti-pipeline or anti-oil," okay, well, get rid of your phone, get rid of your computer, get rid of any plastics you have in your house, get rid of your shampoo bottles, get rid of all that,
your
because that
underwear
doesn't
with the
control your
polyester in it.
climate. Like I said, people are dumb.
Get rid of your vibrators.
Oh, never. Don't do that, Johnny.
Get rid of
That's
your
between
butt plugs.
you. That's between you and your own environment, bro.
Exactly. I mean, I was picturing more of a French tickler, not the thing, but but
Yeah, I mean, we can go and we can do a different topic. It is an adult show.
Getting dark.
It is. Johnny, would you like to
Sure.
bring in a little bit of wit and piffy into this?
Oh. Boy, put me on the spot. I have one more question. Again, it's pretty broad. What's the most common prejudice that non-Albertans have about Alberta? Because when I was a kid and I thought about Alberta, I just imagined that it was like the Wild West. I don't know why I had that image in my mind's eye. I've never been, but I just think of cowboy hats and horses, and everybody works in the oil industry. I mean, are those still common prejudices that you experience today?
Good question.
I think people, the stuff I see online, especially the people when an Albertan complains about something, the first comments back, especially from the eastern provinces and even from BC, because BC is so sophisticated and liberal, is always a bunch of rednecks, a bunch of you have your balls hanging from your truck. Again, it's such a minority when people forget that. Again, University of Alberta Hospital, top 10 in the world in medical research. Wow. University of Alberta's cardiac division, one of the top cardiac hospitals in the entire world. All the oil and gas technology that you see around the world, when we talk about emissions, let's say, we're out of the G20, we're like 11th, right? Because we're the ones inventing all the technologies of how to bring this stuff out of the ground in the safest, most environmentally safe ways. Is it perfect? Of course it's not perfect. Nothing is. But it's Alberta that's leading that. And that was the problem for the NDP when they got in, is instead of embracing that and trying to help grow that, they just bastardized it, saying oil and gas is evil, blah, blah, blah. And they lost a lot of, I actually still think the NDP, if they would have embraced oil and gas, they could have probably stayed in power, because they have some great social stuff that they did. And they brought down the deficit in their last year. People don't want to believe that stuff, but it's like they did. Yeah. So it's not that their policies are terrible. It's that any of these parties, when they get majority, the first thing they do, whether they're right and left, is they run to the furthest part of their agenda. They don't do what Paul said about the government. Pipelines is a perfect example. When people complain that Justin Trudeau didn't get pipelines, the Liberals are against pipelines. Well, guess what, guys? Stephen Harper was in government for almost 10 years as the Prime Minister. And how many pipelines got built?
And a Conservative.
They're a uniparty. We have parties in Canada are the uniparties. They're not doing all the stuff we need them to do. Right?
They're not doing sweet F all. They're not doing sweet F all. They're failing at every level.
And I don't think. I mean, I'm still
ridiculous.
I'm still hoping for the best with Carney, but at the same time, my expectations are it'll be the same old, same old. It doesn't matter who we put in there. This idea that they think, Poilievre would have did better with the state because of what's going on. No, he wouldn't have.
No, he wouldn't.
Neither of them would have. Because again, the way our parliament works, they just don't have the power to do that, right? We don't have a king. And if you had my choice, I would not even be part of we need to get rid of a lot of stuff in our government, especially federally, that has to do with the whole Commonwealth and the monarchy stuff and all that.
Yeah,
that is like gone. Let's move on, people, right? Like we need to move on. I don't need to have a person that I'm paying $250,000 to be the Governor General so they can take a letter to the Queen. Don't care. It has nothing to do on our day-to-day life or policies that affect Canada.
You know, and by the way, if I may, because this is the Canadian Bro Show, and our new logo, which is the French version, it's right there. I will put up the correct one, which I just adjusted. And I created this in my heart of hearts with the help of AI, thank God, and in a free and friendly way. And it's a lot of, but in the meantime, this is the Canadian Bro Show, and it's Canadian, eh? And at the end of the day, what Trent just said is this whole thing that we're talking about is a topic. But this topic needs to be explored at a very deeper level. And what's happening in Canada has never happened, and it's encouraging initially. And whether you think Carney can do it or not, there hasn't been anybody in Canadian politics with his background, his track record, his education, his knowledge, his savvy, and his connections globally, unlike other losers that have the power at that political level. Carney doesn't. And he's from Edmonton. And he's a fucking goaltender. And he went to an Ivy school. And he could, if anybody can help us, he can. And that's all we have. If he can't do it, we're toast. But in the meantime, I think the Canadian Bro Show, being Canadian, it's the most important thing that we stay together as Canadians. We don't want Alberta going. We don't want Quebec going. We want the Maritimes. We want Nanuvet. We want, as a matter of fact, if the morons that are running the current administration down south would like to sell us Alaska, we'll be happy to take them. We're not giving up a 51st state. This is Canada, This is the Canadian Bro Show. And I just wanted to say it's a special episode. It's Finding Alberta.
Thank you, Trent.
Wild Rose Rebellion Part 2. And Trent on his day off, taken away from golf, jacuzzi, beer, his cat, and his wife, and cooking. Thank you, Trent, for joining us again. You really brought an exceptional amount of material for this episode. And Johnny, you're always just, I'm so fortunate at the Canadian Bro Show to have two of the best co-hosts with the most. These guys, I love these guys. They're my friends. And we're really proud of our show with our new logo. We're getting a lot of feedback. And I just did my first short. Check it out. I got 300 views already in like less than 24 hours. It's crazy.
Good grief.
Over 300. It's like nuts.
Congratulations.
And it's me and Terry floating down the Mission Creekway on floaties with a 6-pack of Ultras. And we went like right from Gordon right into the Okanagan Lake on floaties with 8 inches of water. Like, I don't know how I got through that with the size of my ass. Trent, forget about it. My friend Mike Wyszynski, no problem. 6'6", you'll never, the water's just too shallow right now. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. This is an excellent episode. We want to wrap it up at about 52, 53 minutes. Is there anything you want to finish with, Trent, before we sign off?
My last thing would be this. I'm with you on all you said. The Carney stuff, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah.
My last thing would be, I always try to look at things and put yourself in other people's shoes and other situations to see, instead of just thinking of my view of it, what would my view be of it if I was that person in that province or whichever things is happening in your life. And I would say to everybody who listens to this, probably a lot of people that are from BC, is put yourself in the position of what some Albertans feel. And that's the fact that we've given over, it's like $1 trillion is what the province has given into equalization payments to all the other provinces, every single one. So imagine being a person in that province that gives, is not a taker at all, right? We give more than we get from the federal government. So put yourself and people in the shoes of living in Alberta where I'm at, and maybe you'd understand why people are frustrated and people are not happy to feel that we aren't an equal partner in Canada. Yeah. Because I think that's fair. I'm not for separation, but I understand what people are getting at when they're saying we're not being treated fairly. I don't think we are. I actually agree with that. That doesn't mean I want to separate. I don't. I'm a Canadian first, always have been. And I've said to you before, when you travel somewhere and someone says where you're from, you don't go BC or Alberta, you say Canada. And then they go, oh, where in Canada? Then you tell them. But you always say Canada first. So I would like people who might listen to this that are especially from BC and other provinces to go, think about it that way, is that as Albertans, we see that we're running a deficit, our government. Now that's a whole other issue, but we're giving all this money into every other province for all your social programs, so you can have free daycare and free college and all this other stuff. We're the ones footing that bill. And you might not think of it that way, but that's the way that maybe people need to start looking at it. And then they might feel like some Albertans do. I think it's fair. I think that's probably the best way to look at it.
Great point. Johnny?
I'm reading this book that I got at the library today, written by Mike Madden. It's called Go Soldier. I took a picture of myself holding one of this writer's books on posted on my Facebook. I posted on his Facebook page, and I told him about my group page, Johnny's Way, and he joined. This guy's a best-selling author. He also writes the Jack Ryan series. He's
Wow.
he joined my Johnny's Way group page. Like, this is the world we're living in. Okay, and I have a fun before we go. When you're down by the sea and an eel bites your knee, that's amore.
Johnny, you're
Wow.
killing me. My God, it's
Well,
you know, and Johnny actually tried to be stand-up, and he did like 4 stand-ups, and
Wow.
apparently it was so traumatic, and he was so bad that
Right.
he was threatened to be decapitated in the alley if he didn't finish his set.
They're
Is that
gonna
true,
chop
Johnny?
me. Yeah, they're gonna chop me up. I just got out barely by the skin of my.
This is
Yeah.
East Vancouver, where,
Oh,
where
most
you're probably a
definitely.
minority.
Well, no, the Yuck Yucks was it was in Gastown, so I mean, you know, you're not far from a couple of areas in near Gastown that might be perfect for that sort of scenario, body dumping and things like that. But hey, this is the Canadian Bro Show,
It is.
and what a great episode 44, Finding Alberta. Thank you, Trent, for joining us again. Thank you, Johnny. We are the Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and the host of the Canadian Bro Show. We have episode 28 of Trent and I, which is our second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show, which is all basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and Rowley. We just finished up the 2024 and 25 NBA season and everything that became of it and will become of it, and we will continue to do episodes on that. Johnny and I have done 40. This will be our 44th episode with the help of Trent, and the Canadian Bro Show G Unit is right in front of you, without any rap skills or albums, but you know that could come. Trent's got a great voice, and Johnny can dance, and Johnny can sing like in any karaoke dive bar in the world. Johnny he'll just rock it.
I like
And-
karaoke.
And it doesn't like you, but hey, you keep on going, and that's fine. Never heard a worse voice. As a matter of fact, my voice is not much better. But I've never seen anybody that will shamelessly go up and just promote himself regardless. He doesn't care. Johnny's got the thickest skin at 175 pounds and 6'1". But in the meantime, everybody, we
Do
look
what you gotta
forward.
do.
I absolutely do. And I'm
Cheers,
going to
everyone.
sign off here, boys. It's been incredible. I know how to do it this time at 57 and 32. In the meantime, we'll see you next time at the Canadian Bro Show on YouTube, free entertainment. We got like 79 videos, and I got a short. Check us out. I think you'll like it. And if you do enjoy this, subscribe, like, you know, the whole routine. Double bangs, you know, comment, share.
Give us
Just
ideas.
be generous. We've got 68 subscribers. We're on the journey to 500. Help us out. We really appreciate it. You have no idea. In the meantime,
Can I say one more thing, Paul?
please.
We're always open for guests. So anybody watching this podcast, if you want to be a guest on the show, make a comment, tell us about yourself, and maybe we'll make that happen. And we'll meet you.
I think that's a great request, and we've mentioned it before and look forward to that. As long as there's no nudity and
No.
it's an adult show, and we try to keep it as clean as possible, but every once in a while,
Right.
yeah, it comes out. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for joining in. And just one last thing. Could you all please just try to be kind to each other? Could you just be generous and
That's an example.
kind and do something kind for somebody? Don't expect it. Just peace, love, and happiness. Surround yourself with the white light of love. And as all Canadians say, elbows up. The Canadian Bro Show. Canadian, eh? Take care.